Welcome to the session. Greeting of the day. In today's class, we are going to talk about regarding the sheet metal forming process. Previously, we have seen about a bulk metal deformation process. It means a high thickness material deformation we have seen, and we have covered those things. And now the remaining part we have deformed the large materials. We have used the rolling methods, we have used the forging methods, and we have done. Now it is a sheet metal let us consider less than 6 mm. We are considering as a sheet. How to deform those things and how to change the shape of those material. It means those sheet. So some various process are there that we are going to see in today's class, the upcoming sessions. The sheet metal deformation, sheet metal forming processes. We can able to name a few terminologies of blanking and piercing, deep drawings, stretch formings, bendings, spring back, coining, spinning. So these are some of the processes used for sheet metal forming less than 6 mm. And we are using some process and press tools to do these processes. Progressive dies, compressive dies, so the such processes, tools, process are we are using. And later few more energy forming processes are also there. We are using some energies to form this sheet metal bending or sheet metal changing, shape changing process, such as explosive formings. We are using some energies. Electromagnetic formings, electrohydraulic formings, electromagnetic formings, and rubber pad formings. So these are the various some other type of advanced methods to make this sheet metal forming methods. So such cases are possible. We have to see one by one. So the introduction of this sheet metal, you see, the sheet metal is a metal formed into thin and flat pieces. Sheet metal is a metal formed into thin and flat pieces. It is one of the fundamental forms used in the metalworking process. Metalworking process, it is utilized for bulk material. The metalworking process is utilized for the sheet metal also. Therefore, this thinning of these flat specimens is the oldest method. I am talking about these various methods. So, and can be cut and bent into a variety of different shapes. Countless everyday objectives are constructed by this material. Thickness can vary significantly. Although extremely thin sheets are considered as a foil and leaves. So such these things are we have to use. Now, and what I am telling here, sheet thickness which are, you see this word is important. Sheet metal which are thickness which are less than that of the 6 mm is considered as a sheet. Now it means by the sentence, sheet thickness greater than that of 6 mm is considered as a plate here. So less than our zone is less than 6 mm. Less than 6 mm. So sheet metal forming is belong to less than 6 mm. So this all the process is going to be done less than 6 mm. So this is the way we have understanding. The raw material for the sheet metal manufacturing processes is the output of the rolling process. Typically, sheets of the metals are sold as a flat, rectangular sheets of the standard size. If the sheets are thin and very long, they may be converted in the form of rolls. So we are purchasing the sheets less than 6 mm as a raw product. Raw material may be in the form of rolls, maybe in the sheets, or if it is too long sheets, we are keeping rolling and we are taken out. From that sheet, I am going to convert it to the Pepsi cans, I am going to convert into the any of the small thin tumblers. So such a thin material, thin sheet products we can able to make. Therefore, the first step in any sheet metal process is to, from the rolling, from the long material, we are going to cut into the required form. Into the required form, we have the lengthy pipe. Otherwise, it is in the roll forward. It is in the roll forward. As of now, I need only this length to convert into the product. This is the product. So I am converting this into the product in the form of some bending actions. Therefore, what I am doing, I am first cutting this zones. I am cutting this zones. I am cutting. So these zones I am cutting. After cutting, I have taken here and doing those various. So these various processes we can able to do to convert into the product. So first step is for cutting. Is to cut the correct shape and size from the large sheet. So from the large sheet, maybe in the form of it is lengthy, so you have to cut first. Performing cutting and forming operations are relatively for thin sheet of the metals. Thickness of the sheet, the same part what I told here, this point, it is reflecting here, you see. A thickness of the sheet metal, which I am considering, which is equal to sheet, I use the word sheet, which is up to 6 mm. It means less than 6 mm. Now you see next point. Thickness of the plate. So here I use the word plate, which is greater than 6 mm. So less than 6 mm sheet metal forming. So these various processes, they are greater than 6 mm. We are going for the, consider as a plate, we are going for the rolling operations, forging operations, extrusion operations. So those things we are doing there. Operation usually performed generally in the cold working conditions. In the bulk material deformation process, we have talked about the hot working and the cold working. For the cold working process, we have understood that we have to give more force. But the thickness itself is less here. Then obviously, we can able to convert a sheet into the product without the help of hot working conditions. We can able to complete the job in the cold working itself. No need of warmer, no need of hotter. So we are going to do the entire process in this cold working treatment itself. No heating. Sheet metal forming is a group of many complementary processes are used for form the sheet metal parts. One or more of these processes used to take a flat sheet of ductile metal and mechanically apply the deformation forces that are alter the shape of the material. Before deciding on the process, which process we are wanted to do, before deciding the list of process I have shown you, bending, blanking, punching, piercing operations, before going there, one should determine whether the particular sheet is metal can form. Because if the metal is brittle in nature, it will break. It cannot form multiple designed cuttings, designed bending operations. If it is brittle, it will break. Therefore, one should decide which process I am taking. A simple bending operations, or it contains a multiple design operations are there. So such things we have to decide. And then we have to proceed into the desired shape without failure. That is the point I told you. It may break. It may brittle. Therefore, the sheet metal operations done on a press may be grouped into two categories. One, if it is breaking, I am naming this as a cutting operations. As we are removing the product, cutting, converting into two or three forming treatments. So one is a cutting, or this is a shearing operations, and one more I am dividing into the form of forming operations. Maybe this sheet converted into the forming design, changing of the shape. So some as general sketch I would like to give here. A sheet metal which is in the roll format, has been taken. After shearing, it is in long rolling conditions. So therefore, I can able to shear. Shearing has been done. After shearing, I can able to do the different processes, maybe a punching, punching, blanking, stamping. So such various process can be done, or some other various process of bending, roll forming, right? Deep drawings, right? Spinning. So some other all process can be done. Finally, we can able to go for cleaning. So it is a general sketch. What do we have understand? First we have taken the material from the rolling, then we have cut it into various desired length of the product which is going to be shearing, and then punching, blanking, stamping has been done, later bending operations, and then the cleaning treatments are carried out. So these things can be presented. The art of sheet metal lies in the making of the different shapes by adopting a different operations. The major type of operations are divided, that is the same. It may be a shearing, a bending, maybe a shearing, bending, drawing, and a squeezing operations. So shearing is a cutting operation. Bending is something converting shape, converting operations. Similarly drawing also, similarly squeezing also. So I am dividing into such categories one by one. We subdivide into this shearings, we will subdivide, bendings we will subdivide, and we will see. So some definitions before going to the various types. Shearing. You see, the first word itself, it is a cutting treatment. Cutting to separate a large sheet or cut part primitives or make holes in the sheet. Nothing, we are cutting a long sheet from the rolling. It's nothing but a shearing treatments. Then bending, staining sheet around the straight axis. I have taken one sheet metal like this and I am going to strain this material in this way. I am doing a force here. Due to force, what happens? This will be bended into in such formats. It will be bended into such formats. So such a staining a sheet around the straight axis. It is having a straight axis here. We are applying a force there to cause the bending action. Drawing, forming a sheet into convex or concave shapes. So the same we have to make into a convex or concave shape format by deep drawing or drawing operations. Squeezing, we are going to press. Forming of a sheet by gripping. Forming a sheet by gripping and pressing firmly. Likewise, coining. What is this coining? We have seen utilizing daily this coin which contains both sides and some designs. How this is formed? It is by the operation of squeezing. We have taken two dies. This is one die at the top die, and this is one more die which is at the bottom die. And we wanted to keep a material here at the flat material or any other material in between the two dies, and this die will contain the design. This die will contain the design here. Therefore, when we are going to apply the press, here, what happens? This press causes the impression on the object which we have kept inside. So this, I am calling this as a coining method, because we are creating a coin in terms of which contains the squeezing operations, which contains the impression design. That it is named as a coining treatment formed through squeezing. So some classifications. Now, there are three principal operations processing contains on the cut sheets, such as the shearing, blanking, punching, and piercing operations. Now, first I have taken this one. Of shearing. You see, shearing of a sheet metal between two cutting edges. I have taken a flat specimen. Here I am not going to bend. A sharp blade like die we are using. We are going to shear the word. Here we have a sharp corners. Here we have a sharp corners. Here we have a sharp corners. Therefore, it acts like a blade. It acts like a scissors, cutting method, shearing we are going to do. In between what I want to do, that material I am going to keep in between. So just before the first point, this is first, 2, 3 and 4. Just before the punch contact works. So this what I am doing, I am keeping readily, I am not applying pressure. I am just making a contact. I am pressing the workpiece. I am just make a contact between the punch and the workpiece. It's just contacted now. Punch begins to push into the work, causing the plastic deformation. Initially, each material will not break in immediate until otherwise it is a brittle material. Therefore, it will give some resistance, and later it will give some ductility, little bit of deformation. After those deformation, at the breaking point, it is going to shear. Until then, resistance and ductile property will be there for the material. So this material is first initiated for the deformation. After resistance, it is going to deform. So that is why in the second image you see, it is lightly deformed. It is lightly deformed here. So it is lightly deformed. It is also lightly deformed right now. Third, punch compresses and penetrates into work, causing a smooth cut surface. Punch compresses and penetrates into work, causing a smooth cut surface. So it will go. Now it is started to cut. Now what happens, you see? It is started to cut here. It is started to cut, and smooth surface is going like this. So it is started to cut. It is sheared out from one end to the other end. The fracture is initiated. Still it is not totally breaked. These areas are not break totally. It is starting to give this force there. Therefore, it is penetrating at the bottom. Vertically, it is going to penetrate. So the fracture is initiated at the opposing edge, cutting edges, which separates the sheet. Finally, it is going to fracture, and we see here the line is there, fracture line. So it is separately. It is going to cut. So likewise, this is one separate material, this is one separate material. So likewise, we can able to do the cutting operations. That is what? Sheet metal forming. The three principal operations in press working that can cut are shearing, blanking and punching and pressing. That's what one only we have seen. So I want to define the definition of this various blanking. This is number 1. And number 2, blanking and piercing operations. The first important topic. The punching, it is a cutting operation. Yes, that we know. Now we are under the topic of shearing. We are seeing about the topic of shearing. A cutting operations by which the various shaped holes are made in a sheet metal. Punching is similar to blanking, except that it is in the punching mode. Yes. The hole is desired product. The hole is punched, the piercing or punching, what we are punching, that is going to be the desired product. The material punched out to form a hole as being wasted. So what is punched, that is going to be the part here. It is going to be the product, not a waste. Blanking. Blanking is the operation of a cutting. Yes, as like punching and piercing, this is also a cutting method. It means shearing methods. A flat shaped sheet metal, the article punched out is called as a blank. I have taken, we will see the image in the next slide, and is the required part of the required product of the operation. The hole and the metal left behind the discard is a waste product. Notching, it is a cutting operations by which the material pieces are to cut from the edge of the sheet to the strip and the blanks. Now you see here, the blanking and piercing we are seeing. I have taken one material and I have simply blanking part I have did. A simply blanking part I have did. I have made a punching here and one part is coming down. This one This has a same simple blank part. I have not done anything, just I have made a punch, but the part is coming down, I have taken this part. This is a blanking operation. So this is the required part. This is the required material, blanking. So this is the blanking, which is coming out, which is going to be the product. So this is the product, and this is blanking. Now, so which the product is left there according to blanking. According to the blanking, this top which is left over there, this is going to be the waste, and this is going to be the product. So we are taking this. We have taken this one as a, we need this blank we have taken. This is one part. Another side, I am talking about now the punching and piercing. Similarly, again the punching has been done on the product. So one material has been comes down, but here you see this one belongs to a product. The top one, this belongs to the product that is named as a piercing. Piercing, and this is the product. Right? This one is the product here. But you see, here this is the product for piercing, but the same which is cut over there become the waste in the blanking operations. It is reversed. So it means this is the piercing operation, this is the blanking operation, which is come over. Now I am naming this as blanking, which is come over. I am naming this as a waste. This is the waste. So somehow simple understanding we need between the blanking operation and the piercing operations. So the same, it is a shearing operations. Yes, creates an open hole in a sheet metal by separating the interior section, removes the metal, is discarded as a scrap. So from here I have taken out, it is going to be the waste. So I am talking about piercing. You see, I have taken material is a waste material. So that is what I have elaborated here. I have taken out material is become a waste as slug. Blanking, it is also the shearing operations. Yes, it is enlarges earlier precised hole. Removed material is going to be the desired product. Here I have taken out material which is coming down, which is punched out. Here is going to be the product, and this one is kept as a waste. Right? So likewise we understand blanking as a piercing. The remaining part will continue in the next session. Thank you.